Welcome to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Mendte. We all know the tragic story of a North Jersey girl who called an Uber cab and then got into the wrong car. Because of that story, there are initiatives in New Jersey to stop those things from happening again, including in Ocean County. Bradley Billhimer is the Ocean County Prosecutor. Sir, thank you for being here again. I appreciate it. What are you doing? What's your initiative?
I personally had the chance to meet Seymour Josephson, Samantha Josephson's father, in December of last year, and to hear him tell his story of what happened to Samantha. Samantha was a 21-year-old senior at the University of South Carolina, and as you said, Larry, she got into a car she thought was an Uber, and it wasn't an Uber.
We should point out, though, in South Carolina, but she's from New Jersey.
She's from New Jersey. She's from Robbinsville. She was a senior, got into a car after being out. The driver of the car acted as if he was an Uber, had the child safety locks activated in the back seat. She couldn't get out of the car, and she was subsequently murdered. To hear Seymour tell the story of what happened to his daughter, it was just the most gut-wrenching thing I've ever heard. He started a foundation immediately after called whatsmyname.org, and he's produced these Sami signs, which we have one with us if you'd like one, and he's promoting rideshare safety in honor of his daughter. And they're called Sami signs, and it promotes asking the driver what your name is when you get in the car. Governor Murphy signed the legislation June of last year, and the law actually goes into effect March 20th of this year.
You said when you get into the car, which I'm assuming was a slip up. You should ask before you get in the car.
Well, I would imagine you would ask when they roll down the window, but part of the bill that the governor signed here in New Jersey would require any Uber, any Lyft, any other ride-sharing company to have two illuminated signs, one in the front, one in the back, a front and back license plate, and actually a barcode scanner that you could scan. So another safety feature would be asking the driver what your name is to make sure you're getting into the right car.
Samantha's story is the worst. It's a horrible
It's
example. It's horrible that it happened, but she's not the only case of problems with Uber drivers across the country. There's been some startling statistics about sexual assault, about harassment all across the country. So this is more of a pervasive problem than just her. How does the ride sharing work exactly? Like you said, to say their name, you talked about the state legislation. There has to be more than that, right?
Well, there's actually federal legislation pending as well, and I think that's helpful as well. But I think over 36%, just under, right around 36% of all Americans have gotten into a ride-sharing service, which literally means millions of people are getting into strangers' cars.
Oh no, I use Uber all the time. Luckily, I've never had a problem, but I don't think I'd be the victim of those type of problems.
You never know, Larry.
I mean, there seems to be a type, there seems to be a time. It seems to be when people are drinking. It seems to be on a Friday or a Saturday night, so people are on the prowl. They're not just out there; they're on the prowl looking for victims when this is going to happen, and so it's absolutely scary for parents. Do you have, you mentioned a couple things. You should ask the name. Are there other things you should do? Is there something you should have in your mind every single time you call an Uber driver?
Well, most people get an Uber driver through an app. So when you do that, the Uber driver should know your name when you get there, and you should know the Uber driver's license plate number. What happened to Sami in South Carolina is there was no law at the time requiring a front license plate. So she didn't see the front license plate. She looked into the car. He said he was the driver, and the description of the car matched, and she got in. So if you ask the driver what your name is and you match the license plate, those are two important safeguards.
But that should happen.
That should happen all the time.
Like immediately, before you even think of getting in. And how long has the program been in effect?
Sami's Law goes into effect on March 20th of this year, but we in Ocean County purchased 300 signs from Mr. Josephson, and we distribute them through our local police departments, and we're purchasing another 100 signs, and our municipalities have been great. Our chiefs of police have been great in wanting to promote rideshare safety because there's such a large segment of the population that uses them. So we're going to have those signs all over Ocean County, outside of bars, nightclubs, restaurants, anywhere, college campuses, anywhere where kids are going to get into Ubers.
No, it's wonderful. I want to switch, if we can, real quick to another topic, and it's the topic we've talked about in the past. Yeah. It's the topic it's one of the top health topics in the state, and that is opioids. Ocean County was seen as ground zero in the opioid crisis, not just for New Jersey, but for the country. How are things going now?
Things are getting a little bit better. In 2019, we suffered 165 opioid-related overdose fatalities. That number's down slightly from the year prior, which was 187, but I go out and talk so much about these numbers. You have to remember that every one of those numbers represents a life that we lost and the collateral consequences of those families. We see so many families struggling with addiction, and addiction really touches everyone now. It's not discriminatory in who can be addicted to painkillers, opioids, and heroin. So we're working proactively through law enforcement. We've developed some new programs. There was a Blue Heart program you may be familiar with that was introduced by the prosecutor's office in 2017. We've renamed that program and redeveloped the program. We're calling it Blue Hope. We launched in 2020, in the beginning of the year. And the first thing I did to relaunch this program was to approach our Ocean County Health Department, and they've become a partner because I've long seen the opioid crisis as a public health problem.
Tell us what it does exactly.
So what it does is it allows anybody struggling with substance use disorder that needs help to go directly to a police station and be linked directly with a clinical assessment. Under Blue Heart, it was kind of misperceived as a direct linkage to inpatient services, and that's not necessarily what Blue Hope is going to provide, but it's going to provide an access point. We're always looking for law enforcement to have a natural intersection, not to kind of force our way into things. And I think Blue Hope does that. And I think the partnership with the Ocean County Health Department is going to make this process more sustainable. We have an access point for treatment. Somebody that comes in that's struggling with substance use disorder to any police station. We have 15 participating police departments out of 33 in the county, which is pretty good. By the end of 2020, I hope to have all 33 police departments involved. So any person in any town can walk into the police station, say, I need help, and one of our community partners will provide a clinical assessment to determine what level of care they need.
The frustrating thing is, and it sounds like a wonderful program, and I do remember when it was first initiated, and it's a wonderful program, and it's a great idea. And we have Narcan, and that's a great idea. We have federal funding, we have state funding, we have all this funding. And you said the numbers have gone down in your county, but they're still naggingly high.
Naggingly high.
What are we not doing? It just seems that there's so many resources, and we just put a dent in the problem.
That's the problem. We're trying to step up our law enforcement efforts. We're trying to reach out into the community as best we can, but we're certainly open to any ideas. And I don't stand here and pretend for any stretch of time that we have thought of everything. We're open to ideas. We're always trying new approaches. We have another program we've just launched called Operation Helping Hand, which was made possible by a grant from the Attorney General's office in New Jersey Cares. So we're using that money to really target our municipal court system. What we found through our research is there's a lot of individuals that kind of bounce around that municipal court system. They never get into enough trouble to get an indictable offense where they would likely be placed on probation. So we tried to find them where they are in the municipal courts. We launched a pilot program in Toms River Municipal Court where we look at the calendars prior to court. We identify people with paraphernalia offenses, shoplifting offenses, CDS-related offenses, but not necessarily CDS offenses. And we go to court with a recovery coach, a clinician, and members of the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office, and we offer them access to treatment.
Anytime you have a new initiative, anytime you have another idea, please come on. We'd love to talk to you about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
I really appreciate you coming in.
Thank you.
Bradley Billhimer, Ocean County Prosecutor. Jersey Matters continues right after this. When we come back, we'll talk to the mayor of Belmar, New Jersey about big changes possibly coming to town.